a lot of people talking about the Bulls, of course, in my area for obvious reasons. They are plus 450 to make the playoffs. They are currently the 10 seed because Miami has just won 5 straight games. So Miami's plus 190 to make the playoffs as the 9, but the 10 is now plus 450.
Let's put a number on it, right?
Okay.
That's really what it comes down to. It's not about the perception of the team. It's not about the standing. I don't think it's about the math. And to your point, you could get as high as 4-1 on the Bulls to make the playoffs. And I was joking yesterday, facetiously saying, hey, don't let the Bulls get hot. And you were sort of laughing. You know, they were 7-3 in their last 10. They hit that half-court shot to come back and beat the Lakers. They still suck. And I still don't really want to bet them to make the playoffs. And that's compounded by the gambling math. As close as they are to being a playoff team, you know, the Magic are the 8, 36-40. The Bulls are the 10, 33-42. They're right there. They're knocking on the door. But the books feel so strongly about the difficulty of their path that they're willing to offer you minus $4, minus $5, minus $5.50 to miss. That in itself feels like bait. When they take the fish hook and they put the worm on it and they jam it in your mouth and say, come on, we'll give you 4-1. They're only 2 games back. That's it. They're playing well. And it's not just because I watched them get steamrolled by the Thunder last night. I take that with a grain of salt. You're never going to beat a team like Oklahoma City or Denver or Boston or Cleveland if you're Chicago. In an important game, winner take all, you're not winning that game. I still don't like them enough to bet them even to beat Miami or Orlando or Atlanta. I'm not there. Maybe you are. I'm not on Chicago.
Here's how I look at it. So I was looking at these playing odds for both conferences. So for context, I think this is kind of interesting. Dallas is the 9, and they're plus 650 in the West. Sacramento's the 10, and Sacramento's plus 400. So the odds are saying that there's a better chance that Sacramento makes it as the 10 as opposed to Dallas as the 9. So Noops quickly mentioned that there's a big gap between Atlanta, Orlando, and Miami, Chicago. Well, the record says the gap is 2 or 3 games. So I'm not quite sure about that. Maybe he's thinking, okay, playoff time, when they're taking everything more seriously, they're more focused, that there is a larger gap. I don't think there is. Now, in the West, I would make the argument that there is. That it's very likely it's the 7 and the 8. Minnesota, LA Clippers versus Dallas, Sacramento. So in the West, I wouldn't go for the value. But I get what you're saying. The Bulls will be in the play-in. It'll be tough to win 2 road games, but there's a plus 450 out there, and they've played well of late. You know, I don't have anything positive to say about this organization or this team, and I've been laughing at the fan base that is getting super excited about these meaningless wins when they should be losing. With all that said, at getting nearly 5-1 for a team that's going to be in the dance, it's basically a 4-team playoff. 2 of the 4 are getting in, and I'm getting almost 5-1. I kind of think it's worth a shot, and one of these 10s is eventually going to make the official playoff.
It sounds like you're seeing red. We need to get you a pair of those horns. We need Michael Reinsdorf, who's probably watching right now inside the United Center.
I'm not a fan of the team at all.
Yes. I don't know, Paul. It kind of sounds like Joe's seeing red here. I think we need to get you a nice little cape, get you some horns, and maybe you can bring your son to the Bulls play-in game.
No, I wouldn't even go. Even go. Listen, okay. I don't want them to make it because that's what they want. I want what they don't want, if that makes any sense, because they're good with that being the bar. Let's just make the playoffs and we sell more tickets and all is right with the world and people are happy. I don't want them to be there, but I'm just saying these are all bad teams. Like, these are all bad teams, and 2 of them are going to be in the playoffs.
You want to keep the Bulls conversation going? They are laying 5 points tonight at home. 5. Are you interested?
See? They're going to take that 9 from Miami. They're going to piss me off and get in the playoff, the real playoff. That's what's going to happen. No, I'm not really interested. Who are they playing again?
Toronto.
No, I'm not.
Toronto
laying 5. Too. The Bulls laying 5, yeah, kind of shows you how bad they are.
Well,
What's
they
up?
want you to
Yeah,
take Toronto though. They're begging you to take because they want people to say what we're saying. Oh, the Bulls stink. The Bulls are, a 10 seed, whatever. But the Raptors are worse. So I think if you do the NBA zigzag when you bet against the obvious, you would probably be betting Chicago today. But there's not much I love on the NBA card. There's a college game I really like.
yeah.
There's some baseball I'll bet. I really struggle to bet these dog days of NBA. I don't know, man. You have so many of these teams that are solidified in the postseason. You got other teams that just don't give a damn anymore. I mean, what are there? 7 games left for most teams.
Yep.
I don't think it's easy to figure out which teams are going to give a damn and which teams aren't. And then when you
Number.
do know, when you see Chicago with a 5-point lead on Toronto with 7 to go or whatever,
Mhm.
Toronto is going to fold at half if they're down. I mean, if the Bulls are up 15 at half, does Toronto even get out of the locker room? So that's the hardest part. Motivation is very difficult to handicap.
And then you have the number involved too. So it's obvious which teams are trying to lose for more ping pong balls. And then, well, what do you set the number at? It's very difficult.